Hey there everyone, and welcome to another episode of Classic Unboxings. Today I'm going to go over how to replace batteries inside of your Nintendo Game Boy games. So what we have here is Pokemon Gold. The battery is out on it right now, so it's not able to save or have any clock-based events anymore until you go ahead and change out the battery. So I'm going to go over how to do this, and this can be done on any Game Boy game. So a couple of things that you'll need to go ahead and replace this is you will need batteries. For this particular one, it's going to be a 2025 battery, so they're very small, but you can find these basically anywhere. You'll need some sort of knife or something that you can use to go ahead and pry off the solder points for the battery, so just be very careful, of course, with the knife. You'll need some sort of tape. Here I just have some basic gift wrap tape, but you can also use electrical tape. It doesn't really matter, just something to hold down the connections with on the new ones. And if you haven't figured out by now, this is of course not soldering that we're going to be using, so it's just a very easy way that you can use it. And then you will need some sort of screwdriver to get into this back screw right here. So these are protected, of course, so that people can't get inside of the chips, but they do make these online where you can go ahead and purchase these. I bought this online. It was a couple dollars, and basically it just fits right into this point and unscrews it. There are also ways on YouTube I've seen where you can make them like with the end of a pen cap, and you have to kind of burn it and then fit it onto the thing here, and it'll work as well. But I'm going to go ahead and use this. It's a couple dollars, and it's honestly worth it, especially if you have some of these old games that'll go out over time. So we're going to use this, and this is of course how you do it. So you just basically take your point here, go ahead and unscrew that back one right there, and there's your screw. Just set it off to the side, and to remove it you're just going to slide down and open it up here. So this has the original battery on here. So this was produced in 3 of 2000 for this Pokemon Gold. And this is going to be the battery here. You can take the whole chip out if you'd like. I find it easier just to kind of leave it in here so it has a point where you can kind of apply a little bit of pressure to it. So of course take your knife, again be very very careful of course, and then you just basically have to work your way around and take this point off of the battery. It is soldered on with these pins, or these contact points right here, so it does require a little bit of effort to get it off, but I found it pretty easy to go down here towards the bottom, and don't be afraid to kind of move it around and get it to work, but just again be very very careful, especially if you're working with a knife or some other sharp object like I am. So just work it around, get to all the points there. It should start coming up here at the top, and then you just work your way around the other side there. Kind of start working this bottom side too. And once you get it around this point, you can go ahead and start applying some upward pressure to it, and then it should, there's a snap and that took off one of the contacts. You can kind of lift this piece up that came off and just work the next one, and then it pops right off there. Set aside this contact point. We'll go ahead and work the bottom part. There's one more connection point you have to worry about. So just go ahead and lift the battery up. There's a bottom connector piece right here, again 2 solder points. Again I recommend working the bottom, working your way up. Oops, see, you gotta be careful there. Okay, then bottom part here. And don't be afraid to use some pressure on this. Honestly, it feels pretty flimsy, but it's pretty tough in terms of the connections. You got to be a little forceful with it. You can't be afraid of it. Get around the bottom, back to the top point here. And then oops, there it goes. Okay, so the bottom piece, of course, just keep track. It should be on the upper side of this. Do your best. I'm just going to use the hilt of this knife right here to kind of flatten it out as best as I can, because obviously you have to have a good contact point with the bottom and the top of the battery that you're going to be using. Of course, we'll take our battery out here. And the positive side, which is normally always marked or has, of course, the plus, would be facing down. So always have the positive side down. Kind of do the same with the top connection point too. Just kind of work it the best you can, get it as flat as possible. And then we'll go ahead and start applying some tape. So you generally need about maybe 6 inches of tape or so. Go ahead and lift up this bottom part right here. And just lay the tape down like so. Lay the bottom connector over it. And we'll go ahead and take our battery. Oops, wrong one, that's the old one. Take the battery, positive side down. Just put it right in that circle. It's actually marked on the chip too, so you can know exactly where to put it. Make it as good a contact as you can on there. Just really press it down, make sure it's on there. And then you just lay down the top, of course, over it. Push it down as hard as you can, make sure there's a good contact. And just put the other piece on top here. Probably recommend taking the chip out for at least this part. And of course, just make it as nice and as even as you can, applying some pressure again. And then if you'd like, of course, you can cut this off, or you can just put it over the back of the chip. It'll work just fine either way. Put it back inside of this plastic casing here. Make sure it's nice and tight before we finally put the top over it here. Clicks back on, you can do that. And basically we just take the screw again, go into the back, and then of course just reapply it. And there you go, your game is good to go. Batteries typically last, this one happened to last for about 15 years, which is pretty good, so it should give you plenty more of gaming on those Pokemon games, in particular with those batteries. So, okay guys, thanks for watching. Please make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe to my channel for more unboxing videos, and I will see you next time. Take care.